The moment of my high resolve, keep fresh before me. Yes, we got to remember. Yes, 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 we got to remember who we are. Ooh, keep fresh before me. Hey, good morning. I think we are in there. I see myself. Hi. Yay, 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 yay. I've got stuff all over the place, y'all, because it's just, ooh, life is so good. I don't know about y'all, but you know, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm gonna try not to go down that whole path about how grateful I am, but y'all, I am so grateful. And I hope that you are found on this day to be grateful too. And sometimes, we have this tendency to think you get stuck in what we don't have or in comparison thinking and all of that stuff. But oh my goodness, I'm so grateful to be alive at a time such as this, to be, to have the awarenesses that I do, whether it is to have the presence of mind and even as as I feel this kind of cosmic soup that's going on in my soul, I'm still in the midst of this grateful, because one of the things that I know is like, say for instance, if I just went and I mentioned to you that part of when we were going through, when I was in this class and we were doing this Bible study class, and they were talking about the processes of God creating the world and saying, let there be. Our voices are there, but there was created a firmament, is what it says. And this firmament sometimes reminds me of this idea of there being a cosmic soup out of which things come. So whether we are talking about whether we're talking about the mycelial network that goes beneath the ground, or we're talking about the clouds in the sky, or the microbes and all of all the stuff that goes on, out of that what looks like confusion, it comes order, comes something that is beautiful and amazing, comes you and me. And so when I think about how, like, there's a need sometimes to release judgment about stuff. Like, let's not judge it. Let's remain open and see what unfolds. And as we do, we see something amazing. It's amazing. And so sometimes we'll get stuck in a point in time thinking about, oh, what, because I do it. And the struggles that I seem to come up. But here's what I know is, as long as I don't stop, as long as I keep moving and pushing forward, it all works out. If I was to stop, it would be a whole different story. But you keep moving in the midst of the firmament, in the midst of the confusion. You just got to keep moving. And as you keep moving, then all of a sudden something catches up to you. I remember talking about it in the sense that I went through this as a kid. I'm gonna say as a kid. There was so many times that I was running so fast, and it seems like I'm falling. But if I speed up a little bit, here's what I still do, right? When I'm hula hooping, I start hula hooping. I got a couple of big hula hoops, thanks to Jerry. I got these hula hoops, and as I'm hula hooping, y'all know the hula hoop will sometimes seem like it's losing momentum, and like it's about to fall. And what do? You dip, baby, dip. And you speed up. And the momentum is what it is that keeps it up or keeps it going. And so sometimes if you stop, it's going to fall, right? You already know it's going to fall. It's about to fall. And so you just kind of dip and you just, you lean into it and you get faster with it. And then the magic. And so life is like that, instead of just, instead of like falling down, you speed up or you lean into it. And then it all just comes together. I don't care if you're running or if you're riding a bike or whatever. It's that momentum you've got to sometimes lean into. And as you lean into it, oh my gosh, the beauty happens. Woo, so I hope that you are having an amazing morning already, right? That life is good and you know it, right? Here's the thing, right? How they used to say, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, right? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face should surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, right? And I stay in that. I'm so grateful and happy and even when, whatever it is that's coming up, bills, needing a new iPhone, needing to pay this, needing to get that, whatever it is, those kind of things, yeah, they there, but they don't make or break me. Oh my goodness, y'all. And so, what is that? I'm gonna do a scan because it's like shawarma on there or something. Woo. I don't know, but so I pulled this out because I'm always using these little eyeglass things that I get, and so I had this microfiber thing in my car, and it does such a great job on my windows. I thought I'd bring it in the house. It's huge, but hopefully it is doing the job much better than what I was using before. Woo, I can't stand to be looking at something and know that I'm looking through something. I don't know about y'all, but it bugs me to want to look through the lens, and the lens is all dirty. It just bugs me. Can you see that? And so, how often are we looking at things and we're looking through a lens that has us seeing through a window darkly or not seeing what it is that we could or should see? It happens often. And so, at least where I can control it, I do. And this is one of those places. So, hey, what up? What up? What up? So I am, there is so much that is going through my mind at the moment. And I don't know about you, but I've got list of things that to do. And today I have I'm working today. I mean, working for a contract today, which is juicy. Yeah. And amen to that. Let me, keep them coming, so to speak. Just keep them coming. I open myself up to that. And so, it's just, it's a fabulous day. It was going to be a fabulous day anyway, because of course it's the first day of March. First day of March. And I don't know what that means to you, but, it is fantabulous. And so here we go. Let me let me get myself together here and get my all my stuff together here, and so I can focus in on what I'm doing. And there we are. So I'll set this up here, and I'm ready. So what has been on my mind today? Partly is just I've been all day, all morning, just feeling this level of bliss, of and here's the thing, because sometimes I can get just like anybody else, I feel this fog, and I am looking through fog, and the funny thing is that I know that it's there. And when it's present, I start thinking about, what have I done? What have I consumed? What have I not consumed? I go through and I think about, and get real specific and intentional about this stuff. Now, for so many of us, we don't always pay attention to, for instance, our diets. We don't pay attention to the people that we are around. Sometimes we just doing, and don't feel like we have much control. And so, because I am so intentional about my energy, I want to make sure that first off, I want to make sure that I'm being for real present, showing up in a way that is my truth and authentic. But at the same time, wanting to make sure that it is not, that it is not something that is beyond my control, that I can adjust. Here's what I know is that there is a part of us that sees what we call the 3D world, and in it we see ourselves walking around as a body, and we don't recognize that we are like trillions of cells and microbes that come together with an agreement to be you, to be me, right? So it's no accident that, as I sit here, you see a solid mass, but I happen to know there is nothing solid about it, that all of this is participating in me. Just like it may appear that there is an image of me that then shrinks down and comes through the airways and comes out on the other end as a image of me, a holographic kind of image that puts me right where you are. And because I recognize that I am not just physical, but also energetic, I am where you are. Right? And so the blessings that are coming through me, that are here with me, through me, and just lensing, are now right where you are. And so we have this idea that somehow that it is, I'm over here and you're over there, but energetically we are one. We are right here together. And to the degree that you are experiencing me, hearing me, all of that stuff. I used to, my girlfriend Crystal, I don't have her picture up here, but one of the things that Crystal used to do, we would all meditate together. This was the prayer group that I was participating in for so many years, and we would meditate together. And so we could, in this meditation, there was a feeling of our connectedness. And so when Crystal would do these things, like she'll say, I'm gonna come visit you tonight. And sure enough, energetically, she would show up, right? I have no doubt that she was probably showing up from time to time right here where I am. And so this idea that we are bound by our physical location, y'all, stop thinking of it that way. Lay hands on somebody that is your relatives that are across the world or across the country. I mean, send out that love, that energy, that blessing. I mean, when you start to do that, and here's why to do it. When you give love, you get love. And so you gotta stop holding. And as you spread this energy out, what happens is you get more of it. If you are closed and you're tight, and if you're tight, right? I don't have to tell you if you're tight. Nobody else has to tell you if you're tight. You feel the tightness in yourself because it feels like I'm blocking myself in. I'm holding all of this goodness to me. Y'all, if you happy and you know it, then your face shall surely show it. Your life shall surely show it. And so that means that you gotta sometimes just ooze it out. Just project it. And some sometimes we have this perception that we turn it on or turn it off like a light switch. But when it becomes just the ground of your being, when it becomes this connected space, ooh, it's good. It's good. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking to myself like, so my morning this morning, I'm here with you, and then I'll jump off for a little bit, and then I'm on with the other class that I'm doing, the Lenten class. And then I jump off of there for a minute, and then I'm on to another thing. So I'll be sitting here all day. But what I will do is I have these tendencies to take in between my things, take a break. And so today, what I think I'm going to do, in spite of whatever the temperature is outside, I know that even when it's cold outside and I go outside in my bare feet and put my feet in the grass, ooh, it's good and it connects me. And if I am connected, if that's the ground of being, and I'm grounded down into the earth and I'm connecting in that way, man, oh man, oh, this is so good. It's so good. So I think that there is, for each and every one of us, so much that we can do by way of being intentional with our energy and seeing what it is that we can do to increase, to increase that. It's good. It's good. It's good. All right. So I'm looking at and downloading the new Science of Mind magazine for the month for March 1st. And now I can get to go back and look at the one for February. So I can check that out. This one has a interesting cover on it, and it is I guess this is Joy Harjo, and Boldly Authentic Beauty and Redemption. That's good. So it means, so that says to me that it's going to be an interesting month. So the daily guides, I'm gonna share this now. The daily guides. It says by Michael Gott. I've read him before, I do believe. So for March 2023, here's the quote that goes with it. The greatest act of courage is to be and to own all of who you are, without apology, without excuses, without masks, to cover the truth of who you are. And that quote comes from Betty Ford. And nice picture. And so this one says that it is by Reverend Dr. Michael Gott. Let me just read this because I like to know who I'm reading. So this guy is the senior minister at the Unity in Houston. It says, renowned American psychologist Carl Anderson said, "What I am is always enough if I am willing to be it openly." I think I talked about this yesterday. That's the invitation and the blessing of authenticity, he says. There's a great freedom in simply being honest about who and what we are. This includes the spiritual truth of our perfection and the altogether human experience of our imperfection. There's a beautiful but paradoxical truth for us to explore here. We are humans and we are divine. Can we finally cross the great threshold of our spiritual evolution to recognize and honor that our humanity is divine? So let me go through and read this first one, and then I'll put it down after that. I just wanted to make sure that we know who this is, and I need to put this on a little post-it note so I don't forget that I am talking this month about Reverend Dr. Michael Gott. So I don't know if you have apparently you like watching me, right? Bless your heart. But I don't know who else has your attention or your mind. And not saying that I have your mind, but just this idea of who we give our attention to is important, because a lot of times what we don't recognize is that there is a battle for your mind, for your attention constantly. And if we are not aware of that, sometimes we fall prey to things that don't necessarily serve us. And so I want, no matter what it is that you are watching, if it's a commercial, recognize that that commercial is there for a purpose. Sometimes they're there to scare you. I watch, a lot of times I'll watch these Sunday morning things, right? And the first thing they start out with is somebody is trying to steal your identity. Every so many seconds, somebody is trying to take what you got and what you worked hard for. They try to scare you into saying that you need life insurance, or that whatever they might know about health issues in this country, they'll put it up there because they know that there is already something about this. I was reading this book that was talking about that when they look at prehistoric people, back prior to a lot of the industrialization that they did, they was like, do you know that tooth decay was something that did not happen? That it is our diet, the current diet that we have now, that causes tooth decay. And so then that causes a whole industry. And so if you could think about it in the sense that there are so many things, what I say, especially when we're dealing with medicine, is that, we get medicine to deal with the medicine. Or we get medicine to deal with the food, or we get medicine to deal with all kinds of symptoms that might not be there if we were otherwise paying attention. So there is a battle for your attention and for your mind, and you have to be aware and conscious of it so that you can do something about it. So this one is called Imperfection and Perfection, this writing for today. And the first quote is from Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Baker, 365 Days of Richer Living. And it says, humanity is divinely made visible. Humanity is divinely made visible. Okay. Okay. Humanity is divinely made visible. Let's go on. From Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind book, he said, we should be able to look a discordant fact in the face and deny its reality. Our standards is one of perfection. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. That's the quote that he uses from Matthew 5:45. All right. So let me share with you what this Reverend Michael Gott wrote for today. He says, when I began my recovery journey in Alcoholics Anonymous many years ago, I was terrified by the inventory steps to make a searching and fearless moral inventory, and then to disclose to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. My life was filled with secrets and shame. The thought of having someone know my flaws scared me beyond words. That's what he says. But I knew I needed to do this to stay sober. So I scheduled my 5th step with my sponsor. This is him talking. He says, as I began telling her my worst moments and harmful decisions and actions I had taken, my throat was tight and my face flushed. And then a miracle happened. She said, me too, Michael. I did things just like that. I had such admiration and respect for her. Knowing that she too had painful things in her past didn't cause me to lose respect. Actually, my respect for her grew. And more importantly, I began to see the hope that I too could recover and that I could integrate the painful moments and release the toxic shame that had kept me locked in an addictive spiral. He says, I don't know that I have ever experienced a more profound healing. An amazing part of my story is that he found Science of Mind in the same year that he began his recovery. From the beginning of this journey, he says, I've been given a path that requires me to face my humanity and at the same time deepen my knowing the truth of my divinity. Whether or not you have ever experienced addiction, everyone needs a way to hold the imperfection of their humanity within the inviolable container of spiritual truth of your divine perfection. So, hopefully this is what y'all get from me on an everyday basis. That I come on here and I talk about the ways in which the lensing, I see the world. And when you hear the things that not only that I've been through, but that I've been through and called it one thing in the process, only later to recognize that it is all so very good. That's the beauty of this, that life can have this gritty underbelly that a lot of times greater society will tell you that you should judge. But here's the wonderful thing, that when you start to get real about what you've been through, there is not so wait a minute. So first off, we've heard over and over again that there's nothing new under the sun, right? We've all heard that. And what does that mean? Does it mean that, that somebody before me has done that exact same thing? Well, yeah, right? That no matter how, decrepit, depraved, whatever it is that you think you have done or have been through, somebody else has done it before. As a matter of fact, somebody else has done it, gotten a lesson from it, and come back and talk about it later. But if you are hiding in secrecy and shame, like this guy is talking about, you won't even know that. And so for me, I throw it on out there in the first place because I don't, so first off, I don't even know if this is what came up for me to say, but I don't even know how anybody will receive this, but this is what came up for me to say. So first off, your thoughts about me are not anywhere as strong and as powerful as my own thoughts about me. And if I love and accept myself, really don't give a hoot about what somebody else thinks about me. Because it doesn't interrupt what I got going on. It doesn't interrupt my flow. Now, if you are impressionable, or if you think that other people's thoughts are more powerful or more significant or more true than yours, then maybe I could see you sitting there thinking like, oh, but I couldn't. I know that sometimes I on here will say to you, oh, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't, because, sometimes we don't know how people will receive it. But that doesn't mean that I don't share it. It means that sometimes I take the grit out of it, right? And so it's kind of like what we do to babies, right? I would see people who would take babies' food and ground it up a little bit or chew it a little bit before they actually give it to them because they can't take it or they can't process it in the way that they need to, so that it'll be beneficial for them in its state like it is. So what I know is sometimes, especially when I'm talking about my sexuality or when I'm talking about relationships, when I'm talking about some of the things that I've been through, whatever it is, sometimes what I know is people can't hear it because the moment, you say sex, oh my God, they're on shutdown. Like, oh my God, she's supposed to be this and she's supposed to be that, blah, 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 without recognizing that this is a part of life. Like natural, what is the first step. If you can't even get to the I am a physical being, that if you can't even accept the physical part of you, you can't get to the other parts of you because you go by way of that. Yesterday we were in the class that I take on Tuesdays. We were talking about the evolutionary step of what happens when we are, going through an awakening process. And so there is this thing that all of us are born into. Hey, Mike, good morning to you. And so there is a thing when we are all born into this physical self. And this physical self is what we are, what a lot of times what we focus in on. I mean, can you think about it for a minute that, a baby gets consumed with, oh, I got toes. Oh, I got feet. And they sit there and they play with their fingers and their toes, and they're looking at it with the wonder and amazement, just like we do, right? We know what it is, but they're like, wow, I got this thing called a body, and oh, I can move it. And if I cry, I get attention. Or if I do this, there's all these things that happen. So it's the sound of their own sounds and all that stuff. There's a first thing that we come into the physical part of ourselves. If I'm talking about what I was talking about when I first came on with this idea of leaning into something, of running or whatever it is, this getting inhabiting my body, right? And so there is the physical part that comes first. Then there is a mental awareness that comes next. And then you realize once you get from there, it's a springboard into the spiritual. But if you're still trying to deal with the spiritual, looking at the physical, you're going to get lost. He says, we are afraid to have adult talk about adult things. People are. And I don't understand that, right? Because, if, say, for instance, I'm thinking that my connection to the spiritual is through the physical, then I got it all ass backwards in the first place. So if, say, for instance, I'm thinking that, and I mean, and the funny thing is that, as y'all, as you read the Bible, I'm always talking about, I look at the Bible as a gritty kind of work, right? And so when you look at this idea that, all these begats and who was sleeping with who and all of this stuff, it wasn't like these people weren't doing the very things that we judge one another on now. If we get out of the reasons why we have the judgments, I think, is we try to legislate what people do with their bodies when that wasn't the case. When it initially wasn't the case, it's not God judging us, it's us judging us. And so we got to get out of this, because we're told not to judge. The judgments are what keeps us bound. And so physical attraction opens up to mental communication that leads to spiritual connection. It's nature. It is nature, right? And so if we stop making it seem like it's so otherwise bad, if we stop trying to pathologize everything. One of the wonderful things that Dr. Brown talks about with me on Thursdays is he talks about these things, we call them germs, but they're really like all kind of organisms, bacteria, parasites, all kind of stuff that actually participate. They participate and are necessary. Could you imagine if you didn't know, not everybody knows this, but our stomach has acid in it that actually breaks down the things that we consume. As soon as it comes in, there's this thing that begins to happen, and the acids break these things down and then start allocating the stuff to different things that need this. It converts it into things that it can work with and sends it off to stuff. If you were to try to clean up everything, you would mess up that entire system that is there on purpose and doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But if we're busy thinking that somehow it doesn't belong and busy trying to clean it up, we mess up stuff instead of providing it with the environment that it needs to do the work that it's there to do. And so sometimes our own estimation of things gets in the way of what's supposed to really happen. So when he talks about this, this obsession that people have with bacteria and trying to clean things, I am amazed at the numbers of people who try to sterilize environments. I'm going to tell you, my grandmother one time had said to me, my grandmother was, and y'all hear me talk about my grandma and my mom all the time, right? My grandmother was from Mississippi, and she was born back in 1916 or something like that in, the rural South. And a lot of times when we have a judgment around this. So I'm saying this because we have a judgment around it. She was clean when she cooked, right? But I can remember her saying to me on several occasions when I'm busy trying to wash something or do something, she said, I lived a majority of my life in places that did not have running water. She says, we got up every morning and we cooked or we made our stuff. And she was like, we had to purposely go to the well to get stuff. She says, I didn't see people washing their hands all the time. I didn't see people using water that they had to walk, a ways to get and bring back. They weren't wasting it, with all of this, washing and all of that stuff. She was like, we didn't use it for that purpose, right? And she says, and we were healthier then than we are now. Now, of course, we know that food and all of this stuff is not the same. But do you ever wonder what it is that we wash out of our lives, trying to be so, so what we think is right? Do we think that somehow, the pure and cleanliness is not a necessary part of this biosystem that we have, that this ecosystem that we have, that is our bodies, that is our life? We're so busy trying to purify it that we miss out on so much. Can you imagine that some of the stuff, some of the, the way that kids stick things in their mouth or play with stuff, all of that stuff, that part of that is necessary to build a healthy immune system, to have a healthy body? And so when we get caught up thinking that we need to sterilize everything, even our thoughts, y'all, there's something wrong with that. As a matter of fact, let me say this to y'all while y'all watching. Smell yourself. I mean, the sense of your body, we're so busy covering it up, so busy washing it away. We don't even know when some major changes are happening with ourselves. Women get so embarrassed about their own personal smell. That's what you're supposed to smell like. And unless and until somebody actually gets down and tells you that this is how it's supposed to be, we walk around like I'm so good. Come on. Right? We have to learn how to embrace what is natural and to pay attention to it. It is not the enemy. It is not the enemy. So when you smell something that doesn't smell right, get curious about it. That's a metallic smell. Wonder what caused that. Oh, that's, whatever it is, get curious about it. And as you start to pay attention and things begin to come together, you might find out some amazing things about yourself. It's like, can you imagine? You look at my body is turned on. Maybe I should pay attention. Right? How could this be? This person is, this person doesn't meet my checklist. Hello? Sometimes we have an intelligence that's going on that supersedes all of that, the mental stuff that we get into. There are so many levels of us that is at work. And until we learn how to embrace that, we gonna miss it. I don't know about y'all, but I want to be present. I want to recognize that there, and so when I look out at, and I hate the way that I keep saying it, like look out at, as if nature is separate from me. But when I look at the processes that happen in order for me to grow the food that I want, I stick the shovel in the dirt and I turn it over and I see stuff scurrying away. I'm looking at it like, y'all, thank you for doing what you do, because without y'all, we wouldn't have all of this wonderful stuff. We wouldn't have all of this wonderful soil here. We wouldn't have all of this doing. Thank you. right? Okay, now you're getting ready to start something. You know, so we just have to make peace with what is and stop allowing other people to dictate to us how it is that we are supposed to perceive and think about things. There has to become a time when we stop with all of the judging and just kind of allow life to teach us, to show us something different than what we've always thought to be true because somebody else said it. So for me, I want to be, I want to pay attention. I want to be curious is the word, right? I want to be open and receptive to not just myself, but to what I see. What my eyes see, what my ears hear, what taste, what my feet touch on. I want to be curious about it. I don't want to just disregard it. The lady who, she just passed, but she used to always tell me, girl, put some shoes on. Like, first off, I'm a grown woman. I don't need you to tell me to put shoes on. And I have a value in walking on the grass barefoot. Okay, so I recognize too that there are people who use an overabundance of pesticides in their grass or whatever. But does that supersede the benefits of it? And I know what I'm putting on my grass, and I'm not putting all of that stuff on there that they may be putting on theirs. But as I'm doing this, right, as I'm out there and I'm connecting, I'm not looking at it trying to go based on what her estimation is about what I'm doing, but rather what mine is. So y'all just be open. Be open and experiment. And just because this is the way you've always done it doesn't mean that you have to continue. At a certain point you can say, you know what? Let me experience something different. Let me do something else. Right? And I think that that's a beautiful thing. So, Mike says he's already curious. Yeah, be curious. Be curious. That is so fabulous and wonderful. And, and if you find that, something is not for you, then move on to the next thing. Don't get stuck. It's just whatever, life is amazing. Oh, it's amazing. And there's so much. So even as I'm talking to y'all, right? I'm curious now. I have I've lit on something that is fascinating to me. This idea about how the food that we eat impacts our health. And so I started thinking to myself, like, okay, so I'm already, I think that I'm pretty intentional with food and how I relate to food. But what I also know is that I can get more better. I have at times been a lot more conscious about the glutens that I take in. Sometimes I fall off of that gluten thing because it's so, I started saying, okay, I can eat rye bread without feeling, something in my joints, but that white bread gets to me, right? Or I can do gluten-free stuff and it be just perfectly fine. But sometimes there are moments when I eat something that I know is not gluten-free. But now, as I'm seeing how impactful gluten is throughout your entire system, I sit and I think to myself about the mucus that, that I have or that I experience, right? So say, for instance, if I am feeling like I've got mucus in my system and I do take an allergy pill like once a week to dry up the, the mucus stuff that I get. But now it's like I'm curious, is it something that I'm eating that creates that? And so if it is and I don't like it, then then it becomes a change. It's okay, now I need to change that. Lifestyle changes with food help you lose 120 pounds. 120 pounds, really? That's a lot of weight. That's like a person. That's excellent. Congratulations on that. I wonder what kind of lifestyle changes you made, because that's big. I know people that weigh 120 pounds total. So that's huge. And congratulations on that, right? And so I'm not, so I don't have, let me see, how do I say this in a way that is honest. I don't have I believe that everybody should find the beauty in themselves wherever you are, whatever stage you're in. And so it's really interesting to me to see people who are feeling they're optimal, right? And loving themselves where they are. So that's me. I'm loving myself exactly where I am. But now, do I not know? Do I think that so my quest is not about whether or not, oh, I need to get here so I can feel this way about myself. I'm already sexy. I don't need the weight loss to do something about that. That kind of stuff is not about that. So when I'm thinking about this, because as I have said since I've been talking to Dr. Brown, darn it, I'm going for 100, to live to be 100, and I want to be a darn healthy 100. I want to, because I know it's possible. We see it all the time. It is possible. Why just cap it off and say, oh, I hope I get to 80? Or why cap it off at, oh, I hope I get to, oh, my mother died at this age, or my father died. Why cap it off there? Why not look at this as if to say, I'm an active participant in this, and what I do does make a difference. And so I can make some changes so that I am living in concert with this natural being that I am. I just want to, that's what I want to do. I want to live in concert with this earth. I want to recognize that it is here for me, and that it is supporting my desires for me. And so if that means that now I begin to connect differently, that I stop letting somebody else be the, do whatever it is to my food that they choose, I need to be conscious about it. And I need to make conscious choices. And so that's what I'm going to do. So, wow, that is major, Mike. And so, congratulations on that. And, that is major. It's major. So, and it's so funny. I said, on the call that I'm on, I got to get off of here in a second. On that call that I'm on, that Lenten call, I was making that, hey, Walker, good morning. Grand rising to you. On the Lenten conversation that I'm on, I was making the comment that, I'm vegetarian. Really, I'm pescatarian, right? I have fish maybe once a week. Do I have it once a week? I probably have fish once a week, maybe sometimes twice a week. But I was just talking about that, and this woman said, she made the comment, she was like, oh, usually when you see vegetarians, they look so sickly, or they look so this, whatever. And she was like, oh, so I need to talk to you about how to, and I'm thinking, I don't have a crystal ball or all the answers when it comes down to this. I'm still working it out. But I do know that I've got a desire to have longevity. I've got a desire to feel good in the body I'm in. I got a desire to recognize that this earth is giving me something. If you could just look out wherever you are, even if you're just standing still, and perceive that all you are, because there is this, it may be invisible, sometimes it's visible to you, but there is this love that is supporting you and your existence. It's just coming at you, but do you have the ability to receive it? That becomes the question. Do I have the ability to receive all the love that this life, this world is giving me? Do I have the ability to receive the song of the birds that are flying overhead? Do I have the ability to let that grass and the soil detoxify my system? Do I have the ability to receive the nutrients and the stuff that plants are giving me? Do I have the ability to receive all of that without sitting up and being in judgment about it? I mean, even as I think about that, I think it's just so beautiful that there are so many things out here that are all around us that are trying to love us. But if we can't accept the love because we're not seeing it as love, or because we don't love ourselves, and we can't accept it, therefore, if I'm what's blocking that love coming to me, I want to do a shift. I want to change. I want to get that. I want to, it's so good. It is so good. So, sometimes we just need to have turn a few knobs and get a bigger idea about what's going on this planet and what's going on in these bodies, these wonderful, amazing bodies. We just different. So smell yourself, right? Feel yourself. Just celebrate you. I mean, if you don't do anything else today, celebrate you. Hey, Michael, good morning to you. Yeah, just getting that, what does that look like for you, right? This morning as I put on my baby oil, right? And I'm just, rubbing and feeling, and I was so grateful. I was so grateful that, yes, that I have that. That I got skin that drinks it up. I love it that I got a bottle that, pumps it out. I got, and to see it, just so to be in a spirit of thanksgiving about that and everything. If I'm drinking water, I'm so grateful to this water. I'm blessing my water because I know that it is just, it's nourishing me. It's lifting me. Is helping me recycle something. I mean, there is all kind of stuff that is just at work in every one of these cells are participating as me. Oh my goodness. It's like, I'm just so grateful. And can you imagine if I'm happy about them, that maybe they're happy about me too? That's good. It's good. It's good, y'all. So, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Does it require somebody else to celebrate you for you to celebrate you? I don't know, what your thing is, but learn how to just be grateful. Be grateful. Not, we've been taught to even curse our bodies as if the flesh is bad. The flesh is this, the flesh is that. Be grateful. Darn it, be grateful. And then, and sometimes we got to ask the question, what do you have for me? What are you saying to me? Because if we, if all the stuff, what you resist persists. That's what it just came to me. What you resist persists. It's got a message for you. It's got something for you. And you got to be in a space where you can receive it. Receive all the good from it. Whatever that may mean. Just receive it. And it's interesting. I love to be a student of life and to ask questions of what it is. So when I'm saying to you, pay attention to what your body smells like and how it changes over time. Be curious about that. We all, when you go to the bathroom, we all look in the toilet. When you see something different, be curious. Not just turn and don't ignore it. Like you see stuff, see it. When things change, be curious. And sure enough, I know we all go to the doctor and we'll say, I'm smelling something different, or and they just kind of disregard you. But nowadays we've got access to some of everything right here at our fingertips. Type it in the window, right? Got a strange metallic smell. Then what could be causing that? Or if it's dark, my urine is dark, what could be causing that? Asking questions and being curious so that we can take responsibility for ourselves. And so we get to this spiritual consciousness through our physical and mental awareness to the spiritual, not at the expense of. That's just crazy. We create more problems than we create more problems when we try to divide things off. Could you imagine that you got all of this stuff laying in your wake, like laying there dead because you couldn't accept it? Okay, so I gotta go, y'all. But thank you for being here today. I feel so blessed, so blessed that I get a chance to talk to you in the morning. So have an amazing day. I'm so glad that you opened your eyes this morning. I'm so glad that that the blessing is all over you today. I'm so glad that you are feeling energized and inspired, and that you get to go out and make love to the world. Yes, you're going to miss me. Where are you going? I'm going to miss what? Where are you going? I mean, I'm kind of, where are you going? Look, if all you, cause right, energetically, I'm right where you are. I already talked about this today. So there's stuff on my timeline that you can watch just like this, right? All day long. Yeah, it just is more and more than enough stuff going offline today. Well, I'm not gonna be back on here. I don't stay online all day, right? You know that. When I got a class that I'm attending, and then I've got something else, but I don't get back on here when I'm off of here. So enjoy your time offline. It'll be fine. And trust me, there'll be so much more that'll pop up for you to pay attention to. Always something. Just be curious. All right. So blessings to you all. And yeah, and I will be here in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And so blessings, right? Just blessings. All right, let me find the off button, and so I can get on with the stuff that I got to do. You're welcome, dear.